Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FTU Life After the Military. I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez. Today, I'm joined by a good friend, Enrique. We served together in the mean streets of Bravo Company 98. I don't know. I like to equate that time to. It wasn't really like, federal prison time. It was more like doing time down in the county, I guess.
Something like that.
Just so everyone knows, I have some sound effects here, so want to introduce Enrique properly. What's the saying? To make money, you got to spend money. And so this is Enrique's official entrance.
That's like a 300 thing there.
That's pretty good, right? That's
pretty legit. I'm pumped.
High society.
Yeah, I'm pumped now.
So Enrique is currently in the process of transitioning out, and he's actually ventured into property investments, which I know nothing about, which is part of the reason why I wanted to bring him on here, because it sounds like a good venture. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do something like that, but I know if I follow what Enrique does, I know I'll be successful. With that being said, let me pass it over to you, Enrique.
Awesome. Hey, Tony, thanks for having me here, man. Thanks for the invite. So into real estate investment, more in the commercial side. That's what I'm choosing to do as I leave the military.
How did you find out about this? Like, how did you? Because for me, I've heard about like flipping houses. Mm-hmm. Most people in the Army have heard about like flipping houses or buying a house and turning it into a B&B. Yeah. But commercial real estate, I haven't heard too many people go that route.
All right. So yes, especially around Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty, whichever one you want to call them today, but. Especially around Fort Bragg, you have a lot of fix and flippers, right? It's different. They buy a property, rehab the property, put a tenant there, or refinance, get rid of the property, or keep the property and just cash flow out of it, right? That's very popular around here. That's a lot of active work from what I was looking at when I did my research. Then multifamily showed up. And multifamily, I know many people call it 4 units, a fourplex. They call it multifamily, which it is. That's more on the residential side of multifamily. And then 5 units and higher is considered a commercial multifamily, commercial size multifamily. The way you get these opportunities, or the way you get these apartments, right? For example, my company focuses on units 50 and up, right? 50 plus units. We look for 1980 vintage, which means like it was built in 1980. And obviously, I still don't have the liquidity to be able to afford these properties. We're talking $1 million properties, right? But I can link up with other investors as well, right? We create what's called a syndication. These investors are called limited partners. They bring capital into the investment along with my team, and we fund and source this multifamily property, right? And then comes benefits to the limited partners, and then we execute a business plan. There's a lot to say, so I'll stop here, and then you ask me questions, and then we keep going.
Yeah, so, for me, I'm not rich. I don't have, a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if say, or somebody who's listening to this, if they wanted to, get involved with you,
yeah,
but they have no idea what they're doing,
mm-hmm.
Are there groups where they can do that, or could they contact you, or how would somebody who just has no clue what they're doing get involved with this, and I guess not be, robbed?
Not bad robbed. Yeah, there's possibility of that. So the way I got started on this, I guess to answer your question, is I got into a mentorship. So there's a gazillion mentorships out there. They all run from different prices. They all have different lengths. They offer different benefits. So I'm part of a mentorship. This mentorship allows me access to online training. I have coaches. Right before I met with you today for this meeting, I was on a Zoom with my coach. So these coaches, it's called accountability coaches, teach you time management, mindset, help you with the business. The mentorship helps you structure your business, what kind of lawyers you need or attorneys, title company. You pretty much have they take you to the steps to establishing a business, and then they take you through the steps on running a deal, and then building your network. All right. So can you figure this out by yourself watching YouTube videos? Yes, you can. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there are people that have done it. Can you scale to the level where my goals are by watching YouTube videos? No. I mean, I could. It's going to take me quite some time, right? Because a lot of people are going to start with a fourplex, a duplex, and they get that one, and they get another one. Because for you to go to a higher amount of units, it requires other type of loans and other processes. So I highly encourage a mentorship. Do your research, talk to students of whatever mentorships there are, and I guess gather reflections from the students, and then you make a decision on, okay, this is the mentorship I should go into.
So how did you find your mentorship?
Believe it or not, we were talking about it. You and I were talking about it before this, about my algorithm and your algorithm, right? My algorithm is different from yours, where my YouTube algorithm is going to show me a lot of investing stuff, because the time I spend on YouTube is all investing, day trading, right? Because I do that also on the side. So it's going to show me stocks, and real estate and investment and whole life insurance and IULs. That's all I watch on YouTube. So during my little YouTube time, an advertisement came up. So I'm not going to say the name of the mentorship because I don't know if there's some legal stuff with that. But so this guy showed up and he's explaining how quickly you can scale on the commercial side of real estate. And how being part of his mentorship can actually expedite your time to success in real estate. I signed up for a 1 day, not a 1 day, but a 2 hour presentation here in Fayetteville. And then that 2 hour presentation, I signed up for the 3 day boot camp. I was blown away. I was really interested in it, and then signed up for the mentorship. Right. At first, on the second day, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. It's a lot of money. Then on the third day, I was like, F it. What's the worst that can happen, right? And I think it's the best thing to happen. So, so in a nutshell, because of YouTube advertisement, I fell into mentorship.
No, that's great. Like we were talking about, right? Like before we started,
Yeah.
You're asking me like, how did I start this podcast, right?
Yep.
I'm constructively lazy. Didn't get off my couch. Barely picked up the iPad. I didn't even type it in. I asked Siri to search it for me.
Just use your voice.
Yeah. I had to pull up the iPad so I could at least see my face to unlock. You know? And then it told me how to do it.
Man, I tell you, you don't change. You don't change.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, people... What I have found, and I used to do this too, I used to stop myself from trying to do things because I would convince myself that it was difficult. or it was too hard.
Yep.
But when I started just realizing, whatever, like you said, F it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the military helped me out with that. With whatever, I don't care. Made me so numb, like whatever, man. Right? That's kind of my attitude with stuff now, right? Like when I was younger, I did well in school, but I got to college and didn't make it out because this is too hard. I'm not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
When I got in the military, it's like I got to go to college, man, because I don't know about this place, man. So it encouraged me to finish college. When I started my PhD program, yes, I was an angry person when I was in the military, but it was like a lot of times I'm sending information, I'm looking to my left and looking to my right. Sometimes I'm thinking, these guys are idiots, right? But then sometimes I'm sending information, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at Hector, it's like, I don't know if I can keep up with these boys, man.
That's when I was young and unbroken, man. I'm halfway there.
But now I'm broken, but I'm standing in my PhD with my cohort, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, but they're going to have to kick me out. I'm not going to quit. Like, you're going to have to throw me out of here.
Yeah.
Because screw it. I'm here. I just want the opportunity.
And to add to what you mentioned earlier, I think something that we deal with, I guess for me, and a lot of people that I know and that I've gotten to meet within the last 2 years, is that fear has a lot to do with how successful we are on business, right? But then fear is a big motivator. At least it was for me. That's when I go like, F it, what's the worst that can happen, right? Because I look at the scarcity mentality and then abundance mentality, right? And that is something that I'm constantly trying to remind myself to just be in an abundance mindset, right? Instead of thinking, okay, there's no more money, I'm going to run out of money, or there's no more investors, I'm going to run out of investors. I've found through this mentorship that there are a lot more investors. Money will come. You just got to find it, right? Kind of like an idea that keeps me. Every time that fear sneaks in, every time I'm trying to do something, trying to like go higher in the business, there's that fear. There's that emotion that I feel. I'm like, it'll be okay. You always figure it out. And I think the military helped a lot, because how many times you've been thrown, I don't know if I can say this word, but you can blip it later. How many times have you been told to polish a turd, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so you make it work. Yeah. So I think the military helps out a lot with that. But yeah, a lot of fear, especially in when you're trying to jump into business. And like I mentioned before to you, I was not trying to work for nobody. I know I can make it. I know I'm gonna have some big problems in the civilian world by me trying to work with other people. Plus, I didn't want my time to be managed by anybody else, because it was managed for me for 20 years, and missed a lot of time with my kids. Right, so I'm trying to make that time up, and the way to make that time up is by me controlling my own time and. There's no better way to do it than having your own business.
Yeah, I still want to open up my little pizza shop, my little Caesar.
Okay. Where you got a plan? What's up with that?
No. So I looked into it already. Have the plan. However, like you, right? Like you have to know who you are, right?
Yep.
So honestly, and I'm not going to be offended, could you see me interacting with customers, like I could do it, but how long would I last?
Well, first, yeah, I can see you. You can do it. How long would you last? Enough to get somebody else to now you can delegate that responsibility, because you know your limits. So I delegate that responsibility as you grow. So yeah, I think you can do it.
So that was my plan because my daughter is a senior in college, and her major is what is it? Hospitality management and restaurant management.
Boom.
Yes. However,
Boom.
and this is the best part, right? It's like, yes, I have this master plan. Yes, we're going to go into business. We're going to start a little Caesar pizza, and then we'll start buying them up. And it's like, so I asked her, it's like, do you want to go into business? It's like, I'll put up the money and you run it. Nah, I don't want to. It's like, oh.
Come on, we're almost there.
And I was like, okay, all right. It's like the offer's still there because it's not so much that I want to start the Little Caesar for me. It's that I want to help. It's not just enough. My opinion of the military is just that, right? I come on a podcast and I complain about it, but there's a lot of benefits that I took from the military.
Yes.
Right? And I was able to complete my education because of the military.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's important that my children are set up so they're not starting, so they don't waste their opportunity like I did,
Mm-hmm.
And so with my daughter, I wanted to make sure that she was good to go with something, right? And if she changes her mind, then we can do it again. And if not, then okay, we'll figure something out. I guess I'll wait till my granddaughter is ready to go.
Yeah.
And then she could be the Little Caesar king of North Carolina.
Man, it's crazy because that is my why. My why is my kids, and I don't know if I think this is only audio, but you can see the picture of my kids. That's what keeps me driving, and the fact that I don't. I want to say I'm afraid of sitting down and like actually being retired. I don't want to do that. I don't see myself doing that. So that's why the business. That's why the mentorships. So my kids, and I gotta keep swimming.
And this is going to be the first episode that I actually upload to YouTube with video.
Oh boy.
So,
and you picked me for that, all right.
No, I needed somebody handsome because to balance out my Mexican Shrek persona that I have going on here.
Whatever,
as you can see in my office, I wanted like, hey, look at my guitars because I'm talented, and my turntable, my Van Gogh, and also, my Dragon Ball Z stuff up here.
Hey, my oldest one, he's self-taught playing guitar, those acoustics. So, yeah, that is not for me at all. That you got to have some coordination for that.
Well, wait, I have to play sitting down because I'm not talented enough to stand up and play guitar.
You get overloaded there on coordination.
Yeah,
huh?
it's like, no, it's too much. I got to sit down. But I can play a little, so I'll take that.
Oh, man, I took that up on one of the deployments to Afghanistan. My team leader had a guitar. So I have books too, so I started picking it up. I'm like, no, this is not for me. Then my kid tried to teach me a little bit. Like, nope, I'm out. It's a lot of coordination, 2 hands. Not my thing. I can play some bongos. I can play some congas, percussion type of stuff. No strings.
So I wanted to ask you something else besides So when we were in, we were big into fitness, right?
Yeah.
So two questions. One, are you still into that? And 2, have you thought about like pursuing that like as a career in any way, shape, or form? Maybe as a side business.
Maybe in the future. Crazy enough, that was my plan years ago, right? When I was competing. Like, no, I think the gym is the thing, right? But there is a gym in every freaking corner. And so maybe in the future, because my oldest kid is picking it up. So if he's interested in it, just like you were talking with your daughter, maybe having a business together. I might have a business with if the little one gets into it too, maybe. So that's why I say in the future, definitely. So bodybuilding is still an interest of mine. I'm limited on certain things because, like you, there's some injuries and the body just don't move the same. Things lock up. You can get up the next morning. Nothing new. Nothing you're not familiar with. So I'm limited. I don't think I'll compete again, but I definitely I keep working out because it gives me 2 hours of nothing in my mind, like no thoughts. Does that make sense?
2 hours.
Hell yeah, man! I need those 2 hours. If a week goes by, I start getting grumpy. I don't know how that works, but I get grumpy, so I need to go there and just not think about anything. Just be at the gym. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
my workouts went from like an hour of just lifting weights went from like an hour and 10 minutes to like 20 minutes tops.
No, man. Even cardio. I try to do cardio and I have to do at least 30, 35 minutes just doing cardio. Yeah, I know. But it's different, right? Because for me, let's call it PT, but it's my PT, it's my plan, and what I know works for me. It's not somebody else's PT, like PT plan, like, hey, let's go run 5 miles. Well, how does that help me?
What do you mean? You're not throwing the ball over your head anymore?
No, man. To be honest, I haven't done an ACFT in years, at least 2 years, just because of injuries and stuff. So, yeah, I'm a douche bag. Is that a bad word?
That's good. That's
it's not
fine.
okay.
But
Cool.
Like I said, you had somebody on here dropping F-bombs, F-ing this and F-ing that. It's like, oh my God.
No,
what
man.
are we doing?
There's been a few times here that I'm like, oops. If you see me take a lot of pauses, I'm trying to bleep those same F-bombs that I'm about to throw out. Like, oop. So I'm working on it.
No, that's good, right?
We don't want you to get canceled.
For when you transition out, you got to practice that, right? Like, normal people aren't dropping F-bombs left and right.
Believe it or you're right. But believe it or not, so I got a lot of networking events and everything because this business is all about networking. So you've heard in the Army, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Well, no bleep. It is that, especially in the real estate business, it's a lot of networking because you don't become successful by yourself in this, right? But through networking, I've met some people that from the get-go, from the start, they tell you, look, this is me. This is how I talk. I'm sorry, I'm going to throw some F-bombs. They're like, you my people. Now we're tight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instant report right there. Because now I can just be myself. Right? I don't have to keep editing myself. So, yeah, I've met people like that. Not a lot of them, but there are a few.
No, that's good because, so I started this boot camp, right? This data analytics boot camp online from Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill, right?
Yeah.
And it's 3 nights a week, and they break us up into small groups. But it seems like I'm the only person that's comfortable in complete and total silence. Right?
Yeah.
Because they start talking just about stuff, and just like I'm trying to do the assignment, right? Because data analytics is different. It's different software that I haven't used before. So I need to focus on that. And they were asking me, "Oh, so Antonio, do you want to lead this project?" I just shake my head. Like, I haven't even come off mute. Just like, well, we're supposed to work together. It's like, no. But to they would break us up into different groups and to I guess try to build rapport with me, which is always, depending on the situation, it could be the best thing because I understand where you're coming from, or I can find it to be the most insulting thing ever, right? But some of the groups were, Antonio, ¿cómo estás? ¿Hablas español, mi amigo? I was like, here we go.
It's the same thing we were talking about earlier. So this happens to you all the time.
I had to, like, I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk outside. And I'd come back like 5 minutes later. It's like, I don't know what country you're in, but in this country, we speak English. It's like, I don't know why you're speaking to me in Spanish. They're like, and they'd have this look. Like, if you want to practice something with me, how about we practice French, because I need practice with my French. Or how about we practice Indonesian, because I really need practice with that. Like, well, I don't speak Indonesian. Then how about we just not speak?
Wait, do you... Go ahead.
So that's at this boot camp.
Yeah.
However, in other situations when people have done that, it's like, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not offended by it. I appreciate it, because I have that look, right? Like, this is not the face of somebody who, like, hey, come on, come over here and be my friend. Hey, let's be BFFs. That's not my face, right? And so people don't really know how to approach me in person. And so when they do that, I'm not offended. But when it's over virtual or when you call me on the phone, I get offended by it. So for me, networking is a challenge leaving the military.
I can see it. My challenge, I think my challenge has been depending on other people. It's a team sport, right? And I don't know if it's the military or what it is, but I think I can do it all myself. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot to this business. Like the question I was going to ask you is, because you say you do data analysis, there's market research, there's talking to commercial brokers, there is talking to lenders, insurance, there is driving around and talking to contractors, then networking. There's all kinds of stuff, right? And on top of that, managing the website, managing the CRM, you know what that is. I'm sure the customer retention management or something like that is a software. So managing that at the same time you're trying to attract leads. So there's a lot. And in my head, I'm like, I can do all that. Well, you could, but you're not going to sleep. And you're not going to do a very good job. So for me, trying to do this business is being a learning curve where I have to accept, like, I cannot do it all by myself. Right? Once I'm at the networking event, I'm good. Right? But the thought of I can do it all myself is always there, but it's not going to happen. There's a lot to do in this business, so you need a team. So that's been my struggle. But you mentioned data analysis. So what kind of data do you analyze? And you said Chapel Hill, right?
Yeah. So right now it's just the first week, and we're just like, right now it's the bare basics of like using Excel to learn all the formulas.
Yeah.
And they're just giving us the data right now. But they put us in groups so we can brainstorm. Like they came up with this idea, like they picked an imaginary town. They were saying it was gentrifying, right? So businesses were coming into like the rundown area and they were revitalizing it. Mm-hmm. And they wanted us to see like what data could we come up with that would show us the trends in that area, right? And so some people were thinking about like, well, what about like the taxes for the people that live in that area? Some people were saying like, well, we could view, what is it, like recent purchases in that area. It's like, well, we already know there's recent purchases because we were just told that investors are coming in and buying property there. It's like, I guess we could do that. I don't know where we're going to go. But it was just to give us like an idea where we could start from, like spitballing ideas off of each other, so we could learn not to tell each other that, hey, that's a stupid idea. That's what it was, basically, so we could learn how to work together. Because you would be surprised. It was just like being in the military, where somebody came up with that idea. It's like, well, we don't want to go down rabbit holes. It's like, well, it's not really going down a rabbit hole. This is like practice. It's an assignment, and it's for an imaginary town, so it's not really going down a rabbit hole. It's like, no, well, that just would never work. Okay. Like, I don't get into arguments anymore because it's like
it's a different world. It's a different world.
Well, I don't know about you, but how many times did you see guys get in arguments in like a team room over something stupid that had nothing, like, you won an argument in a team room. So what? What did you really accomplish? Did you change the world? Did you solve world peace? Did you solve world hunger? No, right? So, like, why am I going to get into arguments with people online, virtually, for, well, that's a stupid idea. Okay. All right. Like, sure, dude. Like, what's my goal? My goal is to learn the skills so I can learn how to work all these programs to help me with my PhD when I'm doing my research. That's what this boot camp is for.
Okay.
Because everybody else, like, while I'm looking to get another job, it's like, if I could find a job doing data analysis for, like, the Durham Bulls, yeah, you got it, man. For a sports team, yeah, I'll do it. But I don't want to sit in some office in a cubicle doing data analysis all day for some corporation,
That doesn't sound exciting at all.
No, so it's like, I just want something that's going to help me complete my PhD when I write my dissertation 3 years from now.
Man, you on the PhD route. I'm telling you, man, you gotta like that to go to the PhD route. I got an associate, and then I realized that college is not for me. Now if you're gonna be a surgeon, or if I was going to be a surgeon or a lawyer, I probably need to go there. But those are not my aspirations. So,
like, you like to be at the gym and work out?
Yeah.
I like to read. I like to read and run. But how much running can I do with a bad hip, a bad knee, and a bad shoulders and bad back?
Yeah, so you're down to reading.
Some days I can run like a couple of hours, and other days a mile, and that's it. And then I got to come take like a ice cold bath and throw ice in there
and stretch for a week, and it doesn't work.
And so, but if I'm going to read, I might as well read something that's going to give me a piece of paper that says I can put a few words together to form a sentence,
And you mentioned reading, and anybody, I don't know if you heard me ever say that, but I was really against reading. I hated reading. I hated reading with a passion. Right? Like, no, I'm not reading that. Unless it was a sit rep or anything that I have to do it, because now I'm gonna get fired. I would read all that stuff all day long. But when it came to anything else, I wouldn't read, right? And then that's why I said earlier, joining the mentorship was the best thing that happened. Is that it's not that I didn't like reading, I just wasn't reading something that interested me, right? So it came down to reading interest, right? I found out that I can read magazines about working out back then, but anything else, like, I hate reading. No, I just wasn't reading. I almost said a word there, my bad, but I just wasn't reading stuff that was appealing to my taste, right? So now I'm always reading negotiation stuff, real estate stuff, self-development stuff, mindset stuff, because I feel that helps me. It has helped me become a better person, figure some things out, figure myself out. So that's the kind of reading I do, and I freaking love it. If I'm doing cardio on a treadmill or something, I got an Audible on, right? It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. I wish I knew that when I was younger. I was just not reading the right things. hopefully that's of value if somebody who, like me, thought they hated reading.
No, you'd be surprised at how many people just like us, maybe not exactly the same, but somebody out there is like, yeah, I know what that guy's talking about.
Yeah.
Because I hate reading too.
Hopefully, man, yeah. Because that was the craziest discovery to me. Like, wait, why am I reading books? Interest.
There was I went to the UK for some training back in April.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that I was working with in the group, the small group that I was in, he was an older gentleman, right? I'm old, right? But so he was a little bit older than I was. But he had that English accent, right? Like really formal, distinguished voice. I was like, you should you should go work as like reading books, like work for Audible. I asked him, it's like, hey man, will you record my voice message on my phone? he's like, what? It's like, will you record it? It's like, you know what? Never mind, because I'll just call myself all day just so I could hear it. So forget it.
Yeah, there are some people, man. I got a brother, my oldest brother. He's always wanted to be a radio host, and he's got the voice. He's got the. Obviously, it will be a radio. What do you call it? A radio
DJ?
host. I'm sorry, no, like a radio host for Spanish. Like in what's the name of the Miami radio station? Zoe. I don't know if you. Yeah, you had to go through Harb at some point.
I did, but I'm from California, so I know Radio Cali, man.
You don't get it. You don't have an option once you land in Miami.
Radio Cali.
Once you land in Miami, that thing is everywhere. It's all Spanish. It's a whole new. It's a whole different world out there. But so yeah, my brother has the voice and everything. I think he's trying to go get a job on that now. So he retired and also retiring from police. Yeah, he just reminded me of that guy.
No, that's good because I mean you got to try something new, right? Like the earlier episodes of this podcast, they were rigid. There was no editing, was poor, sound was poor. Like I said, when I had Jesse on here, it sounded like he was 10,000 miles away in a cave because he was using just like regular headphones with the microphone right here, and so the microphone would drift over here. It's like I can't hear you, so then he'd hold it like this and get tired, and then it'd fall away, and it was like, I would have to stop and think because I wanted to be real, appropriate, proper, and formal. So I was trying not to curse. So I'd think about what I wanted to say, and then I'd pause and say, just whatever. I talk. If I say I don't care. I explained this to people. The day where I'm not saying that's the day that you probably want to. Well, you want to turn around and walk away because you've hit a nerve where I'm no longer thinking. It's just coming out. It's just reacting, and it's not going to go over too well for you. There's no more because I'm going to light you up. So you might want to just like walk away. When there's no that's not good for anybody.
No, for our podcast, so everybody's first episode on podcasts are like crazy, right? So mine have been crazy as well. And what's even crazier is that I go through the script later. All right, I edit the script to take out some of the stuff and like that, right? See, like I say, some people say again. Because also you have a time of an hour. So sometimes it goes over an hour for a minute or two. So you got to make up that time somehow. But I do the editing. Sorry. I didn't say it. That thing takes me forever to edit the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah. Feel your pain.
That's why I was... before we started, we were talking about which programs I use, right? I use Riverside to record because it gives me the option to upload it as an MP3 as just an audio file or as a Wave 3, a video file, right?
Yeah.
And so I like that. I like that option. But I like Podbean because it distributes to everywhere, right?
All platform.
If there's a platform that has podcasts, Podbean will send it there, right? Except for YouTube. I have to manually upload that. And then for editing, it's Adobe. But for me, like the editing, it's like doing the podcast started becoming a second job. And so I had to take a break because it's like I was doing episodes, because getting people to come on, they're like, well, people work. It's like, wow, I work from home. I watch my kids as I work. So I have like 30 minutes. And so I'm at work too. So I was like setting up in my car at the commissary and using my phone as a hotspot, and it's like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And so I had to take a break, and it's like it's becoming too much like work. It's like I don't really want to edit anymore, so I got rid of Adobe. And it's like, it's just going to be raw. That's what you get is what you get. And like I said, with my guests, I explained to people, hey man, if you can't control your F-bombs, then it's just not going to air. I can handle the other cursing, but if it's F-bombs, we gotta cut it.
Yeah.
And most people can handle it.
Yeah.
But it's I like doing it, but unless I'm earning that Pat McAfee fee or Joe Rogan, I'm not going to spend the time editing and investing in the crazy boom mic and the spit guards and all this crazy stuff. Because
you never know. What if you get to that level of Joe Rogan? What was your goal when you started the podcast? What were you trying to go for?
Just to help some veterans out, just to help some guys that are transitioning out, so they know that, hey man, you're not alone, and yeah, it's a little scary, but it's you're all right. Like if you need help, if you need somebody to review your resume, like you can send it to me, I'll check it out, but just expect honest feedback, or if you want me to say that you're perfect and there's going to be a line outside the gate waiting to hire you, let me know that, and I'll tell you that if that's what you need. But tell me that beforehand. It's like, 'cause don't get mad at me because I give you honest feedback and it's not what you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple of people like that who were like, well, I was in HR and S1, right? I was in HR. I did that for, 20 years. I can go as be a manager in HR. It's like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's like, you don't know. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you have all the answers, then why are you asking for my opinion? Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like no education. I mean, I did HR for 20 years, and I have a high school diploma. What more do they want? Like more than that.
That's one thing. So there's two things I don't like, and believe it or not, there's more special operations individuals around Fort Bragg that are doing the same thing I'm doing, and they want to help veterans. They want to make sure that the veterans know all the things, just like me, all the things that there are, all the ways to become financially successful and just create your own business, generational wealth, all these fancy words that you want to call it. And they want to teach this to veterans. But the problem because I've lived it and they lived it too, because they tell me, is people that come to you for help, but they know all the answers. Well, the other thing is, they come to you for help. They tell you, okay, this is what I want to do. You put in your time, right? Because you don't have time in this business. You got things to do. You stay busy. So they clear their schedule to put you in, and then you never take action. Right? So either you know it all, or you come for help, and then you never take action. I'm like, brother, you were wasting everybody's time, and your time as well. So why even try? So to provide some value to your listeners, there are a lot of people, and anybody can reach out to me, and there are meetups as well, real estate meetups. These are former Special Forces guy, Green Beret, that was in CA, another special people. They got out and they started their own business in real estate, and they're very successful, and they want to help veterans. So you don't have to start like me. I didn't know any of this. I went to a networking event, and that networking event sent me back to Iraq saying, yeah, there are people there. Because I couldn't find them anywhere. Like I said at the beginning of the show, there's only fix and flippers here. That's all I could find. Then I found the multifamily people, and it continues to grow, and there are more. And there's a kid I'm trying to help out now. He's interested in multifamily and understanding multifamily. So hopefully I can help him out. That would be awesome. That would be awesome to provide some value to other veterans.
Yeah, and so whoever's listening, if you need ever need assistance or you ever want to reach out to somebody that you hear on this podcast, you could reach me at arantoniorodriguez98@gmail.com, and then I'll reach out to that person and give them your contact information.
Yeah, awesome.
I usually do it that way so my guests aren't bombarded with one or a million emails, however many.
That makes sense.
But you could do it however you want, or if you want to give them your email or not. I usually do it that way, so then it just...
Well, I appreciate that. I didn't even think of that. Because you just like, yeah, sure, hit me up. I don't care. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, and that thing is always going, so you can go in there at me, and I'll get to it when I get to it, but I'll get to it. But, yeah, I mean, so we'll have a website. You can schedule a call through the website. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. Those are the...
So what's the website?
It's foxtrot-capital.com. So
Okay.
FOXTROT-capital.com. So there's a button for schedule a call. They can send me a message. I think my number is up there as well. So I can send me a text message. Well, not my number. It's a CRM, because if not, I go freaking crazy with them robot call. I think the robots pick it up and they start calling you, but there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So yeah, multiple ways to hit me up. If not, just contact Abrod, Tony.
So I don't think you, but I know you haven't heard the podcast. It's funny because I've been connecting with a few people from the unit, from the 95th, because they've stumbled on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
And what I was telling people, one of my episodes, I was saying, like, for anybody who knew me as Rod or A-Rod or Hot Rod when I was in the military, it's fine. You can continue to call me that. Like, no problem. Anybody else like that I just meet, my name is Tony, Antonio, or Mr. Rodriguez. Until I get my PhD, then it'll be Dr. Rodriguez.
I'm going to call you Mr. Rodriguez now. You know what you just started.
Well, the reason for that is because I hated when I was in the 82nd that my first sergeants couldn't pronounce Rodriguez or Rodriguez. They would say Rodriguez. Right? So they started shortening it to Rod. Rod, come here. Rod.
Now you say that, a lot of Rodriguez got changed to Rod. Yep.
Well, that's not my name. And it's not just my name. It's my parents' name. And it's my kid's name. And it's like, and every time I heard those first sergeants say that, I've already told my wife, if one day if you just see me sprinting as fast as I can and jumping in the air with the Superman punch, boom, and I knock a dude out, you know who was one of my former first sergeants in the 82nd who could not pronounce my name. Because it was insulting.
They're long gone.
In the 95th, it was different because it was the Poppy Battalion, right? Hey, Poppy, hey, mira, hey, Poppy, hey, right?
Oh man.
So it's okay. And I was asked like a couple of times, like, hey man, like, why are you like, why do you treat Hector so good? Why are you so nice to Hector? What has he ever done? And it's like, and I try to explain to people, it's like, well, one, like Hector's always happy, right? Even like when he was grumpy, he was still happy. And it's like, but the first time I saw Hector was one of the validation exercises, right? He had just gotten to the unit and he was in the Cap T for like a week. And then something happened and they switched him and put him in Charlie Company and put him out into validation exercise, right? Hadn't trained up for it, barely knew the guys on his team, and he was out there and it was like, it was one of those crazy shooting ranges where you have to like maneuver and they have you doing all this crazy stuff. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just like, what is this garbage, And they give you these stupid directions. Nobody's paying attention. And then, like Hector, and then just shooting. It's like, just shooting at the target, hit some, miss some. It's like he was given no time to train, no preparation for anything, and then did the validation exercise. Had a positive attitude, and then we had to go to Puerto Rico, right? And they sent him with his team leader to do a KLE. His team leader didn't speak any Spanish, and his team leader was trying to conduct the KLE like you would in the Middle East, right? So you're talking to the person,
yeah,
and he wasn't looking at Hector, so the role player was confused, like, am I? And he looked at me, as like, am I supposed to speak English? It's like, because he keeps looking at me, but like I don't understand what he's saying, and like it was confusing, right? And so Hector's trying to translate, and then trying to explain to the guy what's going on, why he's doing that, and taking notes, trying to take pictures at the same time.
Get burned out real quick.
He's trying to do a 3-person job by himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like the OC, right? Writing notes is like, and they thought like Hector was like thought like I was gonna tear him up. It's like, no, this guy's awesome. Like he has 100%. Like he has a good attitude. Like he's doing the best he can. Like it.
Yeah.
Like he was given a horrible situation for those 2 weeks and did the best he could and still had a positive attitude. It's like, how can you not like somebody like that?
Yeah.
It's like, because I would have complained the entire time. This is stupid. You're all morons.
Slap somebody with a notepad.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You can burn out real quick just between the translating. You burn out.
Yeah. And that's why I liked Hector. Like, people were like, well, I mean, you're the team sergeant, so you're the Charter Force Pro. It's like, you're the medic too, right? It's like, yeah. It's like, when we were in Peru, it's like, okay, well, my team leader, right? He was like, we need to give the guys practice, so go with one of them so they can run the KLE. It's like, or I'll just go by myself because the junior guy didn't speak Spanish. It's like, why am I taking him? So he can practice. What is he going to do? He doesn't speak Spanish. It's like, how is he going to run the KLE? It's like, well, you can interpret for him. I don't know. I'm not a Terp. No, that's why I'm not a Terp. I don't Terp. Tony don't Terp.
Oh, man. I'm not a Terp.
So we're going on almost about an hour now.
That was quick, man.
So, well, yeah, I mean, they usually go by pretty fast. Like I said, when I had Alfredo on here, I love having him on here because he's so animated. But it's like Alfredo. Like I said, I'm smart enough to tell him, like, hey, man, we have a time limit because I know we're going to blow past that time limit.
I'm a quiet guy, man. I'm a quiet guy. So.
No. Like, I know you have other things to do, so, and that's fine. But before we go, we always do shout-outs. Do you have any shout-outs for anybody?
Man, nah, I mean, nobody I can think off, right? And due to the fact that I cannot say certain names, I don't. I say first name, last name. But I don't want to say the last name, obviously. So no. But there's a lot of people that took me to the level that I got in the military, because I don't believe anybody in the military promotes because of their hard work. No, you promote because there's people under you that are working for you or with you and bringing you up, right? And I think some of those people get unrecognized and they get forgotten by leaders when they become seniors. And there were some more than others, but there was a few people that really had a lot to do to help get me to the rank where I got before I got out. There was also leaders that are no longer. Many of them are no longer in the Army; they retired. But those were people that taught me resiliency when I was younger in the Army, when I was younger in CA. Because they really taught me resiliency, and they're the reason why I got out at 20, because I was going to get out like at 8 years. And there was a few people that came in and for some reason believed in me, and I got farther than I thought I was going to get in the military. So, yeah. Sorry I can't say your name, but I'm sure you know who you are if you're listening to this.
Well, and I'll tell you why you thought you could do everything right now.
Yeah.
Is because when I saw you when you were up in the S3,
yeah,
you were doing everything by yourself.
No, man, there's always some other people fucking working.
Well, yeah,
Oops.
I mean...
It came out.
That's all right.
It came out.
That's all right. Just one, that's all right. Yeah, but it was, what, Hector? So it's two of you doing like a 3-shot job. Like, come on.
Manning constraints, there's manning constraints and stuff.
Like, don't give me this officer BS, all right?
Hey,
I've gone off on multiple episodes about the nonsense of officers, and it's like, get out of here, man. Like, go shovel your propaganda to somebody else, because I'm out and I don't have to buy it anymore.
There are some good... I was lucky. I mean, like everybody, yeah, your good ones and your bad ones, but for the most part, I was lucky. There was some solid officers.
What I have realized is that the majority of the quality officers don't do a full career. They realize their potential and they get out.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
There was one young captain who I talked to, and he was on the fence. He was like asking me, this was after I got out. He's like, hey, I just want your opinion. It's like, look, I'm going to be perfectly frank with you. You need to get out. If you want to continue to serve, join the reserves and get out. You have too much potential to stay in the military. This guy just, like, I'm in this PhD program for global leadership, right? Mm-hmm. What is leadership? I don't know. You can't taste it, you can't touch it, but when you see it,
you know it. Yeah.
That guy's a leader. It's like, you need to get out and do anything else. I don't care if you want to go be a garbage man. You're going to be like the leader of garbage men.
Yeah.
You'll be running that place. It's like, you've done your time. Like, how much time should somebody have to do in the military so they can say they served their country? A day? 30 years? That's up to each individual to decide, right?
Yeah.
And so I told him, it's like, this is just my opinion. You can talk to the other officers, like, go talk to a battalion commander, brigade commander. My opinion is, get out. Go work for a 3-letter agency if that's what you want to do. Go work for corporate America. It's like, you will be successful. You do not need the military. The military needs you.
Yeah, I'll give you that. There are a lot of officers, quality guys, real leaders, and then they normally don't stay in for the long run. Interesting how that works. Yep, I'll give you that.
So for me, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the cohorts that's in the PhD Global Leadership program at Troy University. It was a great time out at Montgomery, Alabama. I was explaining that in the military, it was rare for me to get support. The support that I usually got was, well, figure it out. Make it happen. Don't be stupid. Get your head out of your ass. Right? Like, oh, okay. Like, so at some point you just stop asking, right? It's like, I'm just going to do it on my own. Right? For DZSO, like everybody thought I loved jump mastery. I hated jump mastery.
You loved it.
No, I hate it. I'm afraid of heights. I hated airborne school.
We all are afraid of heights. You loved it.
No, I didn't. You want to know why I did it?
I'm just
because my
messing
first
with
sergeant
you.
said, no, my first sergeant said, you're going to go and you're going to go until you pass. Okay, so I went, and that was when I was in the 82nd. And then after that, people were like, oh, well, you love doing that. It's like, I'm doing it because it needs to be done, and I know you're too chicken shit to even go to jump master school. That's why I'm doing it, not because I love it. It's like, I don't want anybody to die because there's nobody to do this stuff. So yes, I will be DZSO for the 75th time.
You got a DZSO badge before you got out, right?
I do. It's at the dump, at the city dump.
Oh man, that could have been a good going away gift, though.
No. So to get that support outside of the military, that was the first time I've ever had that, where people were interested in just to get to know me, the person, not to, hey, well, you're a medic, right? So you can help me out with this, or you're a jump master, right? You can help me out with this. Like, I don't. No, it was like, hi, how are you doing? My name is so and so. It's like it just blew my mind away. To have like, hey, give me honest opinion on my dissertation topic, and then to hear the second when I started going on my rant about the term Hispanic and how I hate it, like that's your dissertation right there. That's it. It's like, I can see it in your face. You're so emotional about it. You're so passionate. That's what they said.
Yeah.
You're so passionate. That's your dissertation right there. It's like, I had never thought about it. It's like, no, the veteran stuff, that sounds like you're interested in it. But that Hispanic, that's the one right there.
That's the nerve.
It's like, oh, okay.
It's man, I don't know. I don't know if I got time, but another thing that I've learned, and I think we all need to learn before we get in while we're in the military, is trying to get to know the person. It changes everything. Even the culture affects the way you communicate with somebody, right? How effective your communication is with somebody else just because your culture is different, right? And there are jobs in the military that focus on culture and all this, but I don't think those jobs always take culture into consideration when we're trying to communicate with other people, right? And I think trying to know the person is very important. Makes everything a lot easier. And that's something I'm not gonna tell you I'm a hero, because after so much time in the military, you get in the program, right? So it's like, get shit done. Let's get shit done. So you might not have a time to get to know somebody, but if you have the time to get to know somebody, it will change the way that person does their job. It will change the way it can change the mood and productivity of the person just by you being better at communicating with them. So something I've learned out here.
Yeah, no. So this is my office, and you can only see a little bit, but over in, let's see if you can see. It's my little bookcase, but it's like a tribute to anime stuff, right? Like, how many people in the Army even knew I like anime? Like, I geeked out over that stuff.
I didn't freaking know. No idea. I just found out.
Right? Nobody did. Nobody. And why? Because you're right. Because we don't take the time to actually get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit here and there.
Just a little bit here and there.
But, I was talking to one guy who's getting out, and he was talking about he was going through this skill bridge program, mentorship program, and they were telling them like, look, when you get out of the military, like you have to be authentic. If you like care about your coworkers, your employees, you're going to find out that most coworkers don't care about each other. They're coworkers. They go to work, do a job, get paid, go home. That's it.
Yeah.
They're not BFFs, and they don't pretend to be BFFs. And they asked him, it's like, when you're in charge of a team, like, did you care about your guys? Of course I cared. It's like, why? It's like, wow, it's like, was it because you needed to make sure they were mission capable? It's like, if mission capable had nothing to do about it, would you care about them? They're like, well, damn, no, I wouldn't. It's like, yeah, that's the point. That's the point. And it's like, being in the military is a job. The military tells us we're a family, but the majority of the time it's not. It's a job, and we need to understand that. Because once that job comes to an end, how many people are so amazed that once you get out, how quiet it is. You don't hear from anybody in the unit ever again. And why is that? Because you decided to get off the train. You're no longer a value. You're not mission capable anymore. Okay. No hard feelings, man. Like, if we had some great times. Good luck or no good luck. I don't care. Masalema. See you guys later. Bye. If you need help when you transition, listen to this podcast, email me, call me, send me a singing telegram. I don't care. Skywrite in the, hire a jet to do some skywriting. Do whatever. Like, I'll help you out. But, and that's what people don't understand. It's like, being in the military, it's a job. You'll make some friends, yeah. But overall, it's a job.
Yep. Yeah, I'll give you that.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
I'll tell you, it's a little worrisome when you're out with a friend and he tells you, hey man, I retired, I got out, but now I just feel like alone. I was outside with a friend and he told me this. That was a really scary feeling after retirement, right? Because it's very easy for us to lose purpose because the whole time we've been going. Then you get out, like you say, you get off the train. It's very easy for you to lose purpose, and then that's when stupid stuff happens, right? Because you lose purpose. So to me, that happened to me. And my friend was telling me, and that was really scary. So I'm sure there are people out there that got off the train. They're trying to figure it out. They don't know how to, but they're feeling alone. That is a very scary place. So if I can help in any ways, just reach out. Those that know me or met me while we were in can reach out anytime. Gets dark out there, man.
Like I said, the best thing that happened to me in the military was getting sent home from Paraguay. Getting kicked out of country because I was ostracized, and then you're garbage. So it made me be alone out there by myself, right? Like, that guy, he's just trouble. He's just garbage. So getting out of the army, it's like, well, you're alone. It's like, well, how's that any different?
Your story is different.
Yeah.
Your story is different. But
no, I come on here and I brag about it. It's like, yeah, I was told by Waldo Palacios that, oh man, you should just get out of the army. Really, I don't know how many people could get a field grade Article 15, a general letter reprimand, removed from the Sergeant First Class list, recover, get promoted back to E7, get promoted to E8, and then a lateral promotion to First Sergeant. It just doesn't happen. And that's not cocky, it's just the truth. It's like,
your story is different. Very different. But I can tell you there are people feeling alone right after they leave.
Yeah.
So best thing which is the reason also why I started this business, is I didn't even want to put myself in that situation. right? So 95.5% into the business, because there's still things that are happening military later, but yeah, gotta find a purpose, gotta find the next mission before you get out, and go full on that next mission, or shit can get dark.
All right. So we're a little over, but before we go, I wanted to make sure we give Enrique a good send-off. So we're going to give him the hype send-off.
I was gonna get the other one.
No. You don't get the chivo.
No.
I'm going to start using that for when somebody says something like, no, that's just stupid, bro. And you get the chivo.
Oh, but no, it was awesome. Good catching up, man. Had a great time. Appreciate that invite.
All right, everyone. So if you're listening to this, thanks for listening. Whoever's listening up in Minnesota, thanks. I just saw that got about 500 downloads over the past few days, so that's awesome. Because
Nice.
up until this point, I think I had maybe like 10 up in Minnesota. So that's awesome. Just remember again, you have something that makes you unique. Identify what that is. Maximize it to its fullest potential, and you will be successful. So until next time, zot, 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 and roll tide.